This movie was like a freaking Shutter Island fan fiction. I hated this movie. I did not like anything about it. I'll try to be positive at the end of the review, but at this point, I just did not like this movie. It was it was psychologically traumatizing. And if you already have depression and anxiety, and you watch this movie, you will leave the movie with a new kind of depression anxiety. That is the experience I had. This isn't a movie for children, let alone an adult that used to be a child and that has an inner child that is suffering. This did not have the effect of giving hope or anything. It just made me cry, and it made me feel so weirded out when I was leaving the movie theater. I feel like this movie was not written for me, which is fine. Most movies aren't. I can buy into, because that's what it is like watching a movie. You buy into the fantasy world. So I can buy into the fantasy world that imaginary friends are real. Ryan Reynolds says in the trailer,
"What if I told you imaginary friends are real? And when their kids grow up, they're forgotten."
I can buy into that. They're real. But then why would you spend the entire movie telling us that they're real, trying to convince other people in the movie that they're real, for the ending scene to be showing that this was all in her head? Like, why would you do that?
Thanks for doing this.
Don't look him in the eye.
Which one?
It felt like Shutter Island. It felt like this was just all in her head. And it's weird because when she's depressed and lonely, the imaginary friends exist. But when, in the end of the movie, she's fine, they all of a sudden they're not there anymore. The apartment is empty. The apartment where Ryan Reynolds lives, it's empty. So what are you trying to tell us? Are they real or not? I'm willing to buy into whatever it is you're trying to tell us, but make a choice, And I don't appreciate the back and forth of what's real or not. John Krasinski said in an interview that he made this movie to be like a Pixar film in real life, which I think he's giving himself way too much credit, because the writing was not Pixar quality writing. I definitely got senses of Up from it, because the exposition of this film was very similar to that of Up, with that it was devastating. I would like a trigger warning for, things like that. Yeah, so it was devastating.
I need to throw up, or I need a snack. It's one of the two.
Gross.
And it really felt like he wanted to make sure that we're invested, so he pulled out the worst thing to just rip out your heartstrings, because that'll keep you invested in the whole film. And it felt like we were being baited with the dad's sickness, because it was so vague. We had no clue what was going on with him. And then in the end, it was just a surgery where post-op he can be lifting boxes and he's totally fine. And you're just like, wait. And I literally was like crying, and then I see that and I'm like, what is going on? So he was fine? What? I felt like there was the childlike wonder and stuff, but the whimsy of it and the wonder, it felt so forced. It felt like it was written by somebody who's like, oh, I know kids. Oh, I understand how kids' minds work. The one thing that was felt like, okay, yeah, this is kind of accurate, is when that old lady from the apartment next door comes out and she thinks she's a witch, and it's just yes, yeah, okay, that felt very real and authentic. The other stuff, I was just I don't know. It felt so forced. The whimsy was so forced. I also feel like they didn't really explain anything at all. Where did the main character, the little girl, where did she come from? Her dad was already in the hospital and her grandma picks her up, and okay, but where did she come from? Can we get some explanation of that? It was they wanted to be vague so that we just fill in the blanks. And then also the character of the grandmother, why was the character just so not like a grandmother? She honestly felt like a weird aunt that was just oh, I guess I gotta babysit this kid for the weekend because their dad's in surgery. That's what it felt like. She didn't feel like a grandmother. And I miss grandparents that feel like grandparents, where they're just so sweet and loving and make you food. This felt like a weird aunt. She was just I guess if you're hungry, you can have something. Then I think, is this really just John Krasinski? Is this just giving us a look into John Krasinski's life? And maybe this is what a grandparent looked like to him. And then I feel really bad about criticizing this, because I'm looking at it for entertainment. And this might be a story that this is just what his life was as a child, maybe. you know? So then it's like, okay, that sucks, and I feel bad about that if that's the case, you know? But just looking at it for like entertainment value, that didn't make me feel good either. And I wanted this to, like, I thought it was gonna be a feel good movie, and it really felt like a feel worse movie. Like, I definitely felt worse. And another thing about feeling worse is why, like, what I don't get is why she made an imaginary friend who looked just like her dad and is a clown.
Do this.
Don't look him in the eye.
Which one?
Yeah, that's gonna grow right back.
And her dad also is very goofy and looks like that. And it's just like, why not just spend all the time with your dad leading up to a surgery? Okay, fine. She doesn't hang out with him for whatever reason. But then I was thinking about it. I was trying to like give a rationale to it. And I thought of like a really sad rationale that like maybe when she was little, he was really busy taking care of the mom, you know, the mom's disease. And then she made an imaginary friend to be just like her dad so she could spend time with her dad. And that was so sad. If that was the reasoning, that like breaks my heart. Like, literally, this movie is so depressing.
I need to throw up, or I need a snack. It's one of the two.
Gross.
Okay, and just to give maybe some positive notes or comments about the movie, the set was really cool.
You.
How?
So I'm a kid.
You are the chosen one.
No. Let's not give her a compliment.
Kind of like romantic. Like, it was a fun, homey, grounded looking set. Like, the building was like historical looking. It had mahogany, the banister and the moldings. It all looked really pretty. And then it had emerald wallpaper, which I really liked. I felt like that was just really pretty. I felt like the movie had like a lot of jewel tones throughout it. So that was really nice. It felt like very grounded. It felt like earthy, and I liked that. See, now I'm gonna go into something that's negative.
Kids.
Cheat!
What kind of a kid creates an invisible if?
But why was the 1950s theme so predominant in this movie? And why did the little girl dress like a grandpa? What was the choice? Why was that the choice there? I didn't understand that. What was with the 1950s? 1950s doesn't make me feel like very nostalgic or happy. So I don't know. I feel like this is like a movie made for Taylor Swift or something. Like, I feel like this was not made for other people. But which is fine. That's okay. But it still wasn't entertaining, like just watching it being outside of this culture. Oh, I will say that one of the like imaginary friends that I thought was like pretty entertaining was the private detective named Cosmo. He was like really just like aggressive and just like out of pocket.
Good luck, short stack. It's all up to you. No pressure. Hook and dagger! Hope this works.
It was just kind of funny, like watching him get in like Ryan Reynolds' face.
I can find anyone, anywhere.
You got my mouth.
And stuff like that. And Ryan Reynolds did his Ryan Reynolds bit, and that always works. That was fun to see. You kind of just have to be like, okay, I guess this grown man is hanging out with this little girl, and I guess we're all okay with it. Okay, maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know, but yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Choices were made, but yeah, Ryan Reynolds always does his bit, and it's funny, it's entertaining. If I were to like do this differently, I would definitely have made the dad like one of the main characters, because like a father-daughter relationship makes sense, and that's the nice thing to see. So yeah, I don't know. In the end, I cried a lot. I cried so much I tried to hide my tears, and against all rules of everything, I touched my eyes. I gave myself a sty, so that sucks. And yeah, I wouldn't watch this if you, I mean, watch it, brace yourself and watch it if you want to. But this movie weirded me out. I don't like things that are like, it's all in your head. What was the point? Like, if the ending is gonna be it was all in your head, what was the point?